House to Home, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
Okay, everybody, hair okay, makeup, Liz and Gina, everybody looks good. We ready to go? All
Yep.
right. House to Home has officially begun, and it must be Tuesday, everybody. The ladies are at their office. I'm at my office. So good to see the both of you.
Good to see you, Jason.
All right. First of all, we got
Can
some
I
feedback.
can I just say
Mhm.
it's tax time, people.
Yes.
Oh,
So, my nerves are a little raw. So, I just want to put that out there. We're recovering from that.
Well, this is what
did,
we do. We
did
get
you
we gather as a team.
did you file yours, Gina? Because we're done.
That's why I'm in shock.
You seem a little calmer than normal, or yeah.
I lost brain cells, so this is not my calm version. I'm in utter shock version.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Well, I think with every couple, it's a question of in our family, I just put together the statements, the check register, and then I dump it onto John. And then he puts it on a spreadsheet before giving it to our CPA. How about you, Gina?
No, my husband does the company stuff, so
Oh, you do the
the
personal.
beginning of time, if he does the company stuff, I get to do the personal stuff. So, and it's fine. We separate the tasks that way. So yeah, it's for anyone who has to file taxes, which is pretty much all of us. I
Yep.
just want to say we feel for you.
And everybody, Liz and Gina and their respective husbands, Uncle John and Leonard and everything like that, they happy couples, beautiful couples. They've raised wonderful families together. They've obviously been very, very successful business people together, and they've also created a wonderful nonprofit, the Children's Ark, which we will always mention here for the wonderful work that you both have done. So we're talking about taxes in jest here and everything, but it's something you got to get done. And both of and hopefully everybody's got their taxes in on time.
Yep, absolutely.
Hopefully.
Okay, speaking of getting things in, right? We are talking today is the topic of ladies, if a customer, let's say me, right? I have a piece of property or several, and I would like to submit them to you for consideration and list them on the market. I know there's this wonderful tool, the MLS like system. It's web-based, it's electronic, anybody can access it 24/7. It extends your ability as realtors and everything. But how do I actually get from here's a piece of property I have in, say, Radio Barrigada, and then how does it get onto the interwebs?
Well, Jason, what we do, of course, if you have a piece of property, we will go and inspect the property. And, if it's a house, we'll tell you how to improve the showing possibilities for your home, like the curb appeal. What do you need to do? I mean, Gina and I pretty much visit homes and say, well, you should paint this, you should do that. So we give them instructions on how to make the home more appealing in order to put it on the market. And then when we get back to our office, we do a number of things. Of course, prior to listing it, we would come up with a market analysis on what the property is worth. And once you are in agreement with placing it on the market at a certain price, then we would plug it into the MLS system. Our Guam Association of Realtors multiple listing service is a place where we place the property, we upload it into the system. Agents can look at it. The cool part about the system is other agents will know, well, Remax Diamond Realty has these homes for sale. It improves the marketability of your property to get it sold because we kind of work together, we collaborate and we work together with other agents to move that property on the market and to get it sold because other agents may have a buyer or we have a buyer, but it's a way to expose the property. So it's, not only is it seen in the multiple listing, it's also seen by other offices' websites because their website will draw from that information from the multiple listing service. And also realtor.com also feeds off that website. So it really gives your property maximum exposure to put it out on the market to get the property sold.
Okay,
So
so
it,
here it is right now, right? Here's the MLS for the Guam Association of Realtors, and uh, Gina, this tool has been around as long as we've been doing this show, so for better than a decade. But even someone who's not in the realty industry, I've always found this very, very intuitive to use, and like I said, very, very helpful.
Well, you know, so there are several ways to market property, right? MLS is one of them. Putting up signs is another. But I tell you, MLS has a more direct impact because you don't have to get in your car and drive around. I mean, that's the next thing that consumers do is once they decide what area they're interested in, or you could stop right there. That's my listing right there in Santa Rita, 375
Okay,
San Vicente
let's go check
Avenue.
this out.
Yeah, let's check that out. So, so you know, once people go on this medium and they look for listings, then they start driving around the area. But this is going to get a wider variety of consumers and realtors. Because you know, if you're working with a real estate agent, you've already identified what areas you want to look at, what price range. So they're probably searching in here first. Then they put together a list of all the properties they're potentially going to show you. In the meantime, you're probably out there driving around the neighborhoods that you like. So you're going to see signs. So those are the two ways that I think are the most effective mechanism to market property to get it in front of consumers and realtors is MLS because it's very broad. Liz mentioned it even goes to realtor.com, which is not just Guam, but anywhere in the world has access to realtor.com. And then the next thing is they like to drive around, look around the neighborhood that they're interested in. So signs are another mechanism that really, you know, give you a lot of exposure also.
For sure. Okay, now Liz, we all know that anything on the internet is, you can put up a photo gallery, a picture, a description, everything. Like this listing in MLS has like everything, but I mean, look at this. It's got 46 different photos, each of which is very, very nice. It's got two floor plans, so you've got like the whole blueprints and everything like that. It's got a very well written description. Who generates all this information and who does data input?
well, each listing agent is responsible for uploading the data. Now, our office has a Matterport camera that, for example, we would take it to your home, Jason, and they would position the camera in certain locations in the home, and it does a photo of everything so that if you had your camera, I mean, your phone or your computer, you could just touch and keep moving around, and you could turn it and you could see every angle of that property. So it's as if you're walking through the home, and it's a very great camera to allow maximum exposure of how your house is laid out. It also does a footprint of the home that you could, we upload. Again, the responsibility of each agent is to, of course, expose the property as much as we can by taking photos on the interior, the exterior, and making it easy for a person to say, hey, this is the house that we want to see, and generate appointments and showings for the property. But again, it is a mechanism for agents. But, people are more tech savvy now that even before calling an agent, they're already, I mean, I get that, Gina gets that, where they say, hey, I've searched the website and I'm interested in this. Usually the standard plus is if you called me and you said, hey, Liz, I want to see property, I would say, Jason, how many bedrooms? What's the square footage? Do you have a particular village you're interested? All of that. And then I would generate a list from the multiple listing service and send that to you for you to scrutinize before we set up appointments to go out and view the properties.
Because that's essentially what MLS does. It gives you all of these different filters that you can apply, and then it whittles everything down from 100 listings to the two that match your criteria.
But in terms of exposure, I want to say there are 600 agents on Guam. So you have maximum exposure for these agents. If they do real estate on a full-time basis, they're checking out the database because they need the data in order to help serve their clients.
Okay, Gina, in the 30 some years that you've been doing real estate here on the island, when MLS became a widely used tool from people in your profession, how much additional work did it add to your already substantial workload, and how much did it streamline your operations?
I don't know if it streamlined it, but I know it added a lot of additional work, but it also made all the information that you should already be gathering for your listing. It made that information available to the consumer and to the realtors. In before MLS came into play, before it was internet based, everything was on paper. You basically just got a sheet of paper with as much information as we can put on that sheet. It was very basic. And there were no photos, nothing else. So in order for you to be able to decide whether or not you're going to show that property to your consumer, your customer, you I mean, some of us actually drove out and said, okay, we're going to go look and see if this is decent enough to show them. And so you drive by, okay, you know what, I'll put this on the list. So I guess to some degree it did streamline it, but you actually have to gather more material now, do the photos. And I have some rules for myself. If I take a listing, I have to have a copy of the deed. I have to have a copy of the maps. If the sellers don't have it, I go out and find all of that. That way I can have everything available to the consumer. And that listing of mine that you just were displaying on our show right now, people actually live there. You can tell it's occupied, but you can't tell it's occupied
Mm.
because
Either that
before
is the
then,
world's nicest kitchen that nobody's using. That was
yeah,
exquisite.
yeah, they live there, but those are the things that we have to do in advance of advertising. You go through the home with the homeowner, whether they live in it or they don't. Sometimes it's easier when they live in it because they're right there alongside of you, helping you do the things that needs to get done. Of course, they end up doing most of the work. You're just giving them suggestions of what should be done. And when they're not here, believe it, it's Liz or myself that are in the home either doing the work that needs to get done, or we're coordinating the people that have to go there to do the work in behalf of the owner because they're not here. That all has to get done before you start advertising.
Okay, let me ask you this, ladies, because I'll touch on something now that we know a thing or two here about at KUM is like content production, right? You're only as good as the quality of the information you're putting together and putting it out there, and it really behooves you to take the time and do it right rather than just jam out 10 really fast. So what does it say if you have a bunch of pictures that are kind of not exactly photographically pleasing, or you have a description which is too vague, or shoddily written and everything like that. Like it really does matter, right?
Hey,
To get
Jason, when we're out there taking photos or the Matterport, the tour of the home, sometimes we move everything from one room to another room so that they could take a video shot and, so they could actually see the property. The problem is if there's furniture or people living in it, Gina and I will go in there and start shifting things around to allow a better video take of the property. And that's a lot of work. Sometimes it takes a couple hours just to get it. Now, we like to see things the way it is because it gives people a better perspective of, okay, if you stage it in a way where you do the digital program, I think sometimes you can't really see the actual view of the property. We tell our clients and our customers, sometimes photos look better than what it actually is. So as long as you tell them that, okay, just bear in mind that it may look better than the actual property itself. So
Mm.
we try to give it as much realness to the photos that we can, but we declutter, we move things around, and that is a lot of effort to get a video in place in order to upload into the system so people can see.
I mean, you're making it presentable, and that's the whole point.
Yeah,
That's the key.
yeah. And your question is, what does it say if you didn't take good pictures, if you didn't make the effort to move things around because you're servicing your customer and your job is to make sure that the home is presentable, it is as much your job as the realtor as it is the owner. So what does that say about the realtor? I think the public could figure that out on their own. And so I encourage all of you, go into the listings and take a look at people's photos. If they didn't make an effort there, I don't know. I guess I should leave it at that.
Oh, okay. It seems like you're coming out of your shock now. We're getting back to the Gino we love so much. Okay, and with that, let's go ahead and wrap with this. So, what is the future of MLS and people being able to receive information? Because you've got these wonderfully detailed interactive maps, you've got pictures, you've got descriptions. Are we looking at, three-dimensional tours, VR, 360 video? I know there's drone shots, all over the place, but what is the next evolution of MLS?
Well, technology keeps changing, and right now, the ability to get in and out and see the picture. If you look at the Google Maps now, sometimes you could go down to the street and then turn your screen around, and you could see the street, what houses are on that street. So again, technology just keeps changing on us, that you just never know how. I mean, of course, it won't transport us to the property. There's no way.
Jason, can you imagine a hologram tour of the home where you just put on glasses maybe, and next thing you know, you're actually at the front door of the property and you could walk through the property? Can you imagine if that's the next step?
That's probably not too far off. I mean, virtual reality and immersive video and 360-degree video is here already. I know I've seen some demos of some stuff, and it's really remarkable.
It's remarkable.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing you really can't get is like temperature and smell-o-vision and getting all of the different sensory inputs about like what a home really is. But that's why you go and you call Liz and Gina and their colleagues over there at Remax, because they'll actually take you down to the property and you can really experience it.
Yeah,
well, the key is if we want to buy something, you got to go in, you want to touch it. I'm a touchy-feely. I want to see. I don't want to order if I can't touch it or see it. And the same thing with a home. You want to be able to be in it. And besides that, I always tell people, when you go into a home, it's about the feeling. How do you feel? What's the energy in the space?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, some people are very sensitive, that they can say, well, this feels just like home.
And we talk about it all the time on this show. It's a relationship. It's falling in love with the home of your dreams.
That's right.
Okay, so ladies, Gina, before you really go off the deep end, we're gonna close. Happy tax day, everybody. Go check out MLS. It's completely free. You don't need to log in. You can browse for 9 straight hours, and I have before. It's very, very entertaining. It's fun to do.
Sometimes it is fun.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
House to Home, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.